Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through my tips for round 24 as well as reviewing my 6 out of 9 top 34% round 23 tipping, in which was an alright round. Got a couple of picks wrong, but before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, my first tip was Collingwood by 13. You can actually see it on the margin one, as this was the margin game. They ended up losing by 24, so I was 37 points off there, which wasn't the best, but not the worst, as I think I also said that I thought Collingwood could lose this, and Collingwood's on a streak. They've lost 3 of their last 4. Could they lose in the last round to, I don't know who they necessarily play. I'll just double check do I have a Collingwood player in my squad? I do not. Let's just go. They play Essendon, they'll win that. They'll win that and they'll finish top. And that plays, I think, on the Friday. Then you got Richmond, I said, by 34. They ended up winning by 29, so I was 5 points off there. So not the worst outcome with that one. I thought it was... As I said, I thought North Melbourne would put up a little bit of a challenge. I think they're definitely better when they've got Clarkson there over Rudden. But I think this is a rebuilding year. I think they'll strive to get 5 or 6 wins in 2024. But they're still 2 or 3 years away from finals, in my opinion. They're not going to be the Hawks or potentially Gold Coast that really jump up that ladder that will probably happen in 2024. There's going to be a team that jumps up. It's going to probably be one of Gold Coast, Hawthorn. I don't think you can really say Adelaide jumps, considering 2 rounds ago they were a 9th or 10th. So I don't think you can really say they jump. So I think the 2 teams that I could really see jumping up are Gold Coast and Hawthorn. Speaking of Gold Coast, they lost by 4 points to Carlton. I said Carlton by 42. Carlton won by 4. So, I mean, this would have really helped out the Swans, to be honest, if Carlton had lost, as it would have put them back in the picture for the 5th place, which would have played Western Bulldogs, GWS. Could still potentially be St Kilda down in 8th place, but we'll wait and see on that one. That would need quite a few results to happen for that to occur. But yeah, didn't get this tip right by 38 points, but I still didn't get the margin right, but still got the tip right, so that was pretty good. And then we come to this game, and I said Giants by 30. I just forgot to put a 1 in front of that, as they ended up blowing that out of the margin. I got this margin tip wrong by 96 points, and it wasn't like I tipped a team by 40 and they lost by 40. I tipped GWS to win by 30. I thought that was perfect. Those 2 teams, I'm pretty sure Essendon started the game actually in front of GWS by about a percentage or so. And to say that percent was gone by about 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the game was... And also, I want to point out, it was 6-6 at one point. And so that means that it was 156 to 30, which just shows even more so the fact that it was such a blowout. And yeah, they took... GWS took off Toby Green in the second quarter or something like that, or at halftime, because the game was dead. The GWS weren't losing that by about you knew at quarter time that the game was gone pretty much. Even it was like 59 to 6 at quarter time or something like that. So yeah, that was a blowout, and I can't really say that I did anything wrong, as I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have actually been tipping GWS by under 30, or potentially even tipping Essendon. St Kilda versus Geelong, I got this tip wrong. Geelong absolutely stunk it up. Out of finals, rebuild coming, retirees for them as well, so we'll see what they do. I think it will be weird. Geelong is going to be a place where I think you will see some fancy players for next year, so it'll be interesting. But I got this tip wrong. I said Geelong by 15. They ended up losing by 33. That's a 48-point swing. And it's not like the other games before with Carlton 38 and Giants 96-point swings, where I got the margin right. This one I just got wrong. Swans by 14 in this. They won by 1. They morally lost the game. Just a shocking decision, to be honest. That wasn't reviewed. Again, Swans love their goalposts and going to the tribunal, I guess, at the moment. And recently, I mean, that Callum Mills smacking the goalpost might have just saved this one season. But then again, you've got Western Bulldogs and Geelong both would be playing each other, and both of them would be able to. So Swans would need to win on the last game of the year to get in. If they had lost this game, but there were so many decisions as well. But yeah, that decision not to review has cost a team the chance. I will say that they're not going to get in, but I will say it was a chance for Adelaide. They still needed 2 or 3 results to go their way, but against West Coast, they most likely would have won. I would say about 90% chance that they're going to win. And yeah, so it was a chance for Adelaide to get in. And now that's been snubbed by a pretty bad umpire decision. Probably missed the goalpost by 2 centimeters. So yeah, really bad decision, but I got that tip right, and morally wrong, I will say, as the English will say, but yeah, got that tip right by 13. Then we move on to the game that broke everyone, and I mean pretty much. I don't think there was a 9 out of 9 this game week for anyone in any of the 800,000 people that tipped on ESPN. I don't think anyone got a 9 out of 9 because no one would in their right mind tip West Coast. Or tip West Coast without taking the piss and tipping other teams to win. I mean, yeah. So, yeah, West Coast won by 7. I said Western Bulldogs by 60. And, yeah, they won by 7. So that is a 67-point swing. Didn't see that coming. Fair play to West Coast. I don't think they're too bad of a team. I think they just need to be able to have actual playable backups rather than injury guys. I think they'll be better next year. I would say probably a 4-5 win team next year. I think they're still 2 or 3 years away with the amount of rookies they've got, and first and second year players. They're still a little bit off, but there's light at the end of the tunnel for West Coast Eagles. But it's a game where, because of the outcome, you might see both coaches be sacked, which is going to be really funny. Melbourne against Hawthorn. Melbourne services, normal services resumed, I guess. 27-point victors. I said by 10, so that's 17 points there. Off, so not the worst prediction. Anything under 20 points, I feel like in the AFL isn't too bad. And then you got Port winning by 16. I said Port by 21, so a really good tip there. Port 5 points off. So yeah, it was just the GWS winning by 96, which absolutely sucked because that game blew out that round. And let's go to round 24. I guess that was a long-winded way to review the round. Collingwood's probably going to win this. I think Collingwood to win by. They're playing Essendon. Essendon's got, theoretically, nothing to play. I should say, no. Theoretically, they have some, and hypothetically, they have something to play for. Realistically, they don't. I think they need to make up, what is that? Most likely, or Western Bulldogs win, so they got to make up 15% plus Western Bulldogs winning, so they probably got to make up 18%, and 18 to 19%. I believe is a it's going to be 180, 170 points if Western Bulldogs beat Geelong. If GWS lose and Western Bulldogs lose, then you're probably looking at about 105, 110 point victory there for Essendon to get over the line. So that'd be interesting, but they're not going to beat Collingwood by 120 points or whatever. That would be ridiculous. It'd be the biggest U-turn, and I'm pretty sure no one's going to predict that. I think even with Collingwood's out, I still think they win by 17 points. I do think they will take it easy. I do think that's what they've been doing, which is not the best idea, I don't think, even with the injuries. But I do think they will take it easy. They'll still get a win, but it won't be as convincing as they've been doing this whole season. And that'll pretty much put them into playing Melbourne at the G, which will be a really, really good game. You got Gold Coast against North. Gold Coast is going to win this, I think. North have nothing really North have things to play for. They need to lose to get number 1, potentially number 2 if the Mackay combo comes up. Gold Coast, if they win, they jump. Their pick becomes a little bit less valuable. Will also, I think, more entice the Swans as well. I think if the pick is at 5, I think it'll be more enticing because I think Connor O'Sullivan is around that pick 8, pick 9 range. And I don't think pick 5, or pick 4, sorry, when you've got potentially 2 Gold Coast guys plus a combo pick in there as well, that drafts it down to 7. Potentially only 1 Gold Coast guy in the top 4 gets it at 6. Whereas if they're going to be at potentially 14th, they have another team in there. I do think, and they're all Melbourne and then West Coast. I think it will help because that Freo pick is Melbourne's pick. I do think that will help in getting O'Sullivan at 7 or 8. I think that's not as much of a reach. I know it's only like 1 pick or 2, but I think it will be a lot more safe as long as the thing with O'Sullivan is he's going to drop to 10 if there's no Sydney side in there, which is a case. I don't know what pick. I think GWS has this Richmond pick, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It'll probably be around pick 10. So getting O'Sullivan, I think around 8 or 9 is the goal for the Swans. So I think they will charge at Gold Coast a little bit more if they do win this game against North and finish a pick higher. A pick worse off, and I think it will be a better pick for O'Sullivan. So Gold Coast to win this, I think, against North by 26 points. You've got Hawthorn against Freo. I think Hawthorn actually wins this, weirdly enough, and doesn't really change, but I think they're just on a run at the end of the year. They want to finish off strong as they're going to make that leap next year. And I think Newcombe coming back could really help that midfield. They'll run those tags against Brayshaw and Sarong and really go old school and really provide a really good result to finish off the season. And I think there's hope there for Hawthorn fans out there. So, yeah, I think Hawks is going to win this game by 21 points. Then you got Brisbane St Kilda, and this is where things get interesting. Brisbane need to win, but have already known the result about Collingwood, so they probably just need to win to keep top 2 locked up, which is a home final at the Gabba. Stay at the Gabba the whole final series until the MCG decide it, and just hope that you can have a Swans or an interstate team playing at the MCG. 2 interstate teams that would mess up with the VFL. But just the Brisbane need to stay at the Gabba at all costs and just hope that they can get a non-Melbourne team if they want to do really well at the MCG. So I think Brisbane win this game. I think they're going to win it by 17. I think St Kilda will put up a fight. I think St Kilda will provide a little bit more oomph compared to a lot of teams at the Gabba, and they'll be a lot better defensively than most teams. But I still think Brisbane's going to get over the line, lock up that top 2 spot. Collingwood have already won in my predictors, so it's not really then top spot is off the table. But I do think that they can wrap up second spot, which will be absolutely huge. Then you have Western Bulldogs against Geelong, and here is where the potential swapperoonies happen. I'm predicting Western Bulldogs to win, as I think Geelong just for some reason forget how to play footy. They've got a couple of retirees, a lot of injuries. I think they'll put Tom Hawkins on ice, or potentially this could be Tom Hawkins' retiree. I think Geelong might have 4 or 5 retirees, or just guys that hang up the boots, I guess, in the next week or 2 after the season. They might be saying it internally that they're going to retire, but don't actually say it to the wider public. But I do think that they will have a lot of guys retire. I think the Western Bulldogs have a lot to play for, and with Libba coming back, that will absolutely help in the midfield. So I think they'll just do better, and they'll beat Geelong by, I think 11 points. I think it'll be tight, but I think they'll win. Then Adelaide, I think, will storm. Adelaide, I think, are going to prove a point to the AFL here and absolutely storm home against West Coast by, I'm going to say 45 points. Even though I liked the way that West Coast played, I think Adelaide is pissed, to say the least, about that decision. Just trying to show to the AFL that decision really did cost them a lot, as I think the results that I predict are going to have them in finals. They will going to have them in finals, I think, and with this Carlton GWS game. And I don't think that's going to help the wider public, especially if the Swans lose to Melbourne and they make finals on an umpire error. That'd be quite funny. But yeah, I think Adelaide do win that game, and they really prove to their AFL that really did cost them a lot. Then you got Port versus Richmond. I think Port win this. Richmond's got nothing to play for really, and I don't think this game really matters too much. Melbourne will play a couple hours after them when their game's finished. Richmond's got nothing to really play for. They'll actually try and play to lose, I think, to get a better draft. Well, their first is actually not there, so it goes to GWS. So GWS will obviously be hoping Richmond lose because that pick could be worth another a selection higher, especially in this weird draft where you're going to have... I mean, it's weird every year, but you're going to have so many... You've got the Gold Coast 3 that are probably going to be picked up in the first 15 picks. You've got the combo pick. I think there's also another 2 academy guys as well. So I think there's 5 or 6 extra picks in the top 20 or so that are going to actually occur. So it's going to be a long first round, I think. So I think that GWS will be hoping that Richmond loses. And Richmond's already done their retiree games as well, I think. So yeah, I think Port are going to win this, and I think they're going to go into finals playing Brisbane in Brisbane as they win this game by 33 points. Then you got Swans versus Melbourne, and honestly, when you actually think about this game, the Swans, I've already predicted St Kilda to lose, so the Swans have something to play for in that they've got the chance to finish 6th, play St Kilda at St Kilda, or the chance to finish and also not have to play Carlton at Carlton. So they'll be in Melbourne or Sydney. As you see here, there's no way that they're not in Melbourne or Sydney. But I do think that they have a chance to actually win this game. I think they will want to win this game against Melbourne just to prove that they're good enough to compete in the finals. And I would like them to have that St Kilda matchup either way. So I think they're going to win this game by, I think it's going to be close. I'm going to say 13 points. Then you got Carlton against GWS. I think Carlton want to win just to continue that run. Obviously, GWS want to win to get into finals. But I think they might drop out, as a matter of fact. I think they're going to drop out of finals. I'm going to predict Carlton by 21 points, and I think you will see, obviously, with that, given that Western Bulldogs already have a higher percentage here, just looking at this one here, and GWS, and we said that Western Bulldogs win and GWS lose, then given the margins that I've predicted, it doesn't matter that it doesn't, there's no, they've got to be at low scoring or whatever, like if GWS only score 10 points or whatever and lose 31-10 or whatever, that's not going to be enough to cause GWS to stay in finals. I'm predicting Western Bulldogs to jump GWS to finish 9th, Western Bulldogs 8th, and I think Swans end up finishing 6th, and St Kilda 7th, Carlton 8th, Melbourne 4th, and then the top 3 the same. I'm pretty sure is what I've come up with. And then the bottom 10 or 9 can sort themselves out, honestly, with whatever I predicted. But that is pretty much the video. A long-winded video, as I did take a lot of time to go through my round 23 as what a round that was, as there was some talking points, some coaches going to be sacked, obviously, some umpire issues as well. And yeah, just a wacky round, and hopefully round 24 can produce a lot more drama, but not in the way that we got the drama in the first place. And yeah, so that is the video, and you will be seeing the predictor for the finals as well. I don't know if I'll necessarily do it through ESPN tipping, but I think I'll probably just do it through Squiggle, as that will be more interactive, as it will show the final brackets, the finals bracket, etc., and that'll really show how I think teams line up, etc. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.